In the name of the Father, and the Son, and the Holy Spirit, one God. Amen. By God's grace, we'll continue the book of Song of Solomon, and we are in chapter 3. As we said, that we are taking this book through the view of communion, because communion is the strongest love story between God and man, and it is the church gift to us in our faith, how to benefit from the communion. I'll share the desktop, so let me just switch something here.
Thank you.
Chapter 3, by night on my bed, I sought the one I love. So, what is the night? What do you think when it says by night? What would the night refer to?
A dark time when you're
Exactly. This is why we needed you today. You may leave now. Don't listen to me. So exactly as Emily said, is that the night is the time where I feel I am not close to God or away from God, or in a state of distance from God. So by night on my bed, I sought the one I love. So the first verse in chapter 3 is amazing in this. So it is good to sleep, and as I'm sleeping, I am thinking of God. This is the condition which our church tries to make us live in, as we have midnight praises and glorification, is that we don't just go home. We spend more time after all of the services of Saturday has finished, and in fact, Saturday night from 6 o'clock is the beginning of Sunday, as the biblical way of counting the day. The night comes before the day. So 6 p.m. to 6 a.m. is the night of the day, and then 6 a.m. to 6 p.m. is the day of the day. So, for example, today we are in the eve of Wednesday. By night on my bed, I sought the one I love. The one, one focus, one person, one God, one faith. And I am always busy with thinking about him. I sought him, but I did not find him. So that did not find him, it could be because of me. I put a barrier between me and God somehow, or because of tribulations, as we said, we read previously. I am black and beautiful, for the son of the noon has tanned me. So the lack of finding could be real not finding, because of my prayers got weak, my relationship with God got strained, and I ended up not being able to have a relationship with him. But the decision making, I will rise now, I said, and go about the city. Who made the decision like this? This sounds like somebody we all know, very, very common, our teaching and preaching. And we should follow him all the time in St. Luke, one of the parables. I will rise now. Yeah, he really felt this, but he did not have anybody around him to guide him. Different than this version here. She will go very closely and find him. But he was in a very he was in a very far city. He went in his delusion that he will be happier away from his father's house. He not only left, but he left and went to a far country. And we don't have to be physically, geographically far to be far. We can be far within the church even. We can be very far. Hope you know that the thrice blessed due to his excellence in theology and humility and monasticism. He said that till when you're going to live, till when you're going to serve the house of the Lord and not the Lord of the house? Till when are you going to serve the house of the Lord and not serve the Lord of the house? We could be in the church day and night. Of course, it increases our proximity, it increases our chance, we're already in the house of God, but it can be also a drug that we are serving, and I find myself not having a relationship with Christ, having a relationship with the congregation, having a relationship with the service, having a praying liturgy, but I myself, my personal prayers are weak. I myself not having a strong relationship with Christ. So the beautiful thing about this virginal heart, when she said in chapter 1, even the virgins love you. Yes, these are the ones who feel the love of God because their house is dedicated to God. So please, if you are in the night, make this decision. I will rise now, I said, and go about the city. So I wrote here in the commentary, when I'm separated from my lover, leading me to restlessness, my soul cannot sleep and is not at rest till I find the one I love. We are in love because of who he is, his giving, his qualities, his character. As we discussed, we are in the image and likeness of God. St. Augustine said, we will go around, or he went all around the world, committing every sin, doing every rhetoric, doing every type of research he did on the soul, on whatever he did. And he committed sin on purpose, and he had an illegitimate son. And at the end, he said, I found you inside me. I found you inside me. The gap that we have inside when we don't have Christ, it's the reason when we have any sadness. But it is sometimes we are at night, and may God bring the sun, as we'll see. The city is the world. The city is where when I lost God, I found myself having to go and look for him, and I got distracted, and I will go and find him. So in the streets and in the squares, I will seek the one I love. Again, the one I love. You can see the repetitiveness here. It gives comfort, gives lots of emotions. I sought him, but I did not find him. How many times she's saying I did not find him? So far? 2. So because there's a nice riddle coming up. The watchmen who go about the city found me. I said, have you seen the one I love? Keep the repetition by the Holy Spirit is just telling us here, please learn this way of speaking about Christ. And now we can relate more because now we see Christ. Then it wasn't. So the watchmen work for the king, and Christ is the king. So they would let me know. So there's the flock, follow the footsteps of the flock, and there is the watchman. So there's 2 categories of people here who can lead me to Christ. The flock, that's the congregation that follow Christ, and the watchmen are the priests, the people who watch over the city. What is that city? Is watching me for my protection, watching for the safety in the city, watching for my safety in this world, watching that I am protected. And they know where the king is. This is the nice thing here, because there's going to be another set of watchmen that will act differently with her later on. The watchmen who go about the city found me. I said, have you seen the one I love? So this is the people I can go to when I lose Christ. Follow the footsteps of the sheep or the flock, and follow the watchmen that are staying up in vigil, that are protecting, that are watching for the teachings, that are watching for the safety of the congregation, trying as much as they can to watch. But unless God watches the city, the watchman will have vigil in vain. So all of our effort, if it's not guided by Christ, it will be in vain. It will not be crowned by success. Okay, so it has a happy ending, same way as she asked him to follow, and he found her to follow the flock. And God is telling us, the one who comes to me, I will by no means cast out. He tells us this in St. John 6. So if you want God, go to him and you will not be cast out. Scarcely had I passed by them when I found the one I love. Scarcely had I passed by, like barely. I held him and would not let him go. This is the crown, I think, of the one of the jewel verses in this book. I held him and would not let him go. So some of the commentators on this book look at this. I put it in bold. I did not find him. I did not find him, and I found him. Anything that comes to mind here? Not finding, then finding.
Keep trying.
Sure, keep trying. What else? 1, 2, 3. What is the number 3? What else? Very, very big thing in our faith, the resurrection. So this is the church that says when Christ is crucified, he died. All of the church is the disciples. They are squandered. They are afraid. They are hidden. They are gathered. So as if this is some of the contemplation that this is like the resurrection. I did not find him. I did not find him, and then I found him on the third day or on the third trial. I found him. So on my bed I didn't find him. Went on the city, I didn't find him, and then I found him. So the establishment of the, and this is what we do in our church. I held him and I will not let him loose. St. Paul says, I will lay among you a foundation, and no other than that is Christ. And then everybody will build on this foundation. Some people will build hay and wood and straw, and some people will build with gold and silver and precious stones. And everyone's work will be tested by fire. So we have Christ as the foundation, and then as servants, we build on top of this foundation, because he tells us in chapter 3 of 1 Corinthians. So we are all about the church and the individuals, because we are ourselves a church. I want to hold him, and I don't want to let him loose. I want to hold him, and I would not let him loose. So on my bed, I am seeking him. I didn't find him. In the streets, I am seeking him and I didn't find him. But then I found him. And we can even relate it to the events of Christ on the cross, as he tells us on Good Friday, we can find him. He's buried. And then on Saturday, we're so afraid, we're hiding. We don't want anybody to find us. That's in the upper room in the city. But on Sunday, just barely as the sun starts to rise, I am looking for him, and then he appears to me and I find him. So it's just the book of Songs of Solomon has amazing depths that I think we ought to think about it much more.
What does it mean, scarcely had I passed by them when I found the one I loved?
That God responded quickly when I feel that if I'm seeking him that diligently, just as soon as I passed asking about him, he appeared to me. And this relates more to the resurrection. They are going and they're thinking, who will open the tomb? Who will let us get access to him? Who will allow us to put perfume and all of this correct way of burial for him, because we just literally wrapped him up quickly and put him in the tomb with awe and respect, of course. So this is the attitude of the heart. I mean, the heart of St. Mary Magdalene fits this perfectly. The heart of the Marys, the heart of the disciples. The disciples may be iffy, but they at least hid and were afraid. What do we do now? And then these women are not scared. They're just going out. In a time, it's hard to be that bold, but I can't imagine that St. Mary Magdalene had any sleep between Friday to Sunday morning. Have you seen the one I love? And she literally asked the gardener, if you have taken him, Please bring him to me, and I don't know it's doing this. Bring him to me, and I will take him. I will take him from you. So what we're trying to yani, establish here is that the soul that lives in the resurrection will always find Christ, and God doesn't want us to be in this away from Him. But you have to be with this attitude. At night, you can't wait till the morning comes for.
The mic is off.
Mic is off.
I can't hear you.
Maybe it's getting the mic from somewhere else. Just I will stop for a second. Maybe getting the. Sorry.